It's the night of technical difficulties.
It's the Russians. They're hacking into our Roll20.
Oh.
Could be it. I had mentioned that he went to the front of the party, by the way, Chad. He's not watching your back. You're watching his.
No, but he's watching my.
He's watching your front.
Typhon's gonna be in the front.
He kind of no. He moves to the front, and his cloak billows in your face.
I gotcha.
We're back on. We're back on. Okay.
Yeah, we're back on.
Okay. Just a weird situation there. Okay, so he kind of moves towards the front, but Pockets is in the lead, obviously. You get to a point where there's like a stream. It's about 10 feet wide. It's about 2.5 feet or so deep. Seth kind of steps into it a little bit and kind of walks in it. And you guys are moving at a kind of lessened pace, of course, because of the slime. That said, I'm going to go ahead and move us to a map. And you guys make your way down the stream a bit until you get to a point where you see a waterfall, probably about 10 feet high, cascading down. It looks like there are bits of snow kind of stuck at the top of it, and bits of ice, but there also looks like there's bits of slime as well, kind of like dripping out of it as well. There look like there are passageways on the side that you can climb up. But from what you can tell, this water seems to be flowing from the stone to your right side, kind of flowing in from the stone to your right side.
Can you put light on me?
Yeah. Same for you, Karen.
I can see, actually. You must already had light on me.
Yeah, sounds good. So you guys can kind of see, like, it kind of like runs along the way. So you guys are going to climb up there, I assume?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You kind of get up there, and as you kind of rise up, I don't know if any of you guys have ever lived in a house in the Midwest or the South or anything, but like when you go upstairs, there's like a certain kind of just temperature difference and like a funk. Reverse it. So it's a lot warmer where you're at, and you're kind of going up into a colder area. It's not frigid or freezing or anything. It's just chilly. And you kind of step out onto the way. Pockets, you realize that you're kind of on the wrong side of history in this one, and you're going to have to cross over the stream.
I teleport with Maggie Miss.
You can walk across. It's only about 2 feet deep, unless you're that scared of the water. Seth has been walking. Seth has been walking around in it. Yeah, he hasn't died yet.
All right, then I'll walk across.
Okay.
Yeah.
You die.
As you guys get a bit of light up there, you realize that there are patches of fungus kind of growing in kind of batches on the side there. And then it looks like there's this strange metal device like set in the ground. All it really seems to have on it is like a spindle, which is wrapped with this strange wire, and the wire goes straight up into the ceiling. You notice that the ceiling is some 40 feet high in this chamber, and as you kind of look up there with dark vision, or just on the edge of the light that you have, you can see that it doesn't go into the stone. It looks like there's a hole in the ceiling that's about the same size as the device directly above it.
Oh, so it's like it gets raised up into the hole in the ceiling.
Potentially.
So it's a string as a thin line?
It's, say about yay. We can't really see that alone. Oh, yay.
Okay, so not super thin.
No,
About
it looks
an
like it's
inch and a half.
Yeah, about an inch and a half.
Made of what?
If you go over to it and check it out, it looks like it's made out of iron.
That's true.
Okay. Yeah, but
be careful of the fungus, though. Might want to check that first.
Oh yeah, I actually saw a shrieker fungus once. Do I see any that look like that?
No, doesn't look like that at all. There is a bit of movement inside of there, though. It looks like small bugs. From what you can tell from your perspective, Farron, it looks like they're maggots.
Light it up.
Yeah.
Maggots.
Light it on fire, guys.
You think so? I mean, we could.
I mean, you can go hang out with the maggots if you want.
I don't really want to hang out with the maggots. Maggots.
Well,
I can
I
light it up.
don't want to hang out with the magnets either.
Yeah, really.
How do they work?
Straight to you.
I'm gonna throw produce flame on it though.
That meme was brought to you by a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time.
Magnets, how do they work? Anyway, so I'm done. Yeah. Maggots. Maggots.
Flaming maggots,
Maggots. You
Sounds
shoot the
like
fire.
popcorn.
You shoot the fire into it. It kind of hits the ground. It kind of like pulses for a second, but it doesn't ignite the mushrooms because the mushrooms aren't flammable. It singes maybe one or so. You might have killed a maggot or two, but you don't think you really did anything to anything. It doesn't look like it's a flammable target. It's like trying to light a fire in a rainforest.
Yeah. I was emasculated by a mushroom.
Do the maggots move around? They try to get out of the way, or they just kind of...
Have you ever like lifted up like a piece of trash in a trash can and seen a grouping of maggots on an old piece of food?
No,
Yeah.
actually.
Never. Well,
Never.
you live a very blessed life. The rest of you who aren't living in a castle somewhere in fancy schmancy town, you guys
Sorry,
you've seen a bunch of maggots on food, right? Am I the only person? Am I
Yeah,
poor?
I've seen some, yeah.
Have I
I've
been?
seen it.
Okay, cool.
I've seen
great.
all kinds of maggots in all kinds of situations.
That's what we're talking about. And it smells
they scare.
smells kind of dank in here. And when I say dank, I mean the true definition of dank, not
Yeah.
because it's kind of wet and chill, and everything seems to be kind of coated with a glistening kind of shimmer shine. And again, every square here is difficult terrain. The ones that are actually marked for difficult terrain are double difficult terrain.
Ooh.
Wow.
Pockets.
Pockets wants to
Pockets,
check out
make
the
a
maggot
perception
meat.
check.
Maggot meat.
He's maggot meat.
20.
You're pretty sure you see something glinting in the light.
Pockets carefully goes in to inspect closer.
With withered hand.
You kind of, look around and you're kind of looking down there, you get close, and you notice that these mounds aren't really just mounds. They kind of have like a human shape to them. And you see that somewhere around where you'd propose a neck is, on the one that you're at, you see what looks like an amulet made out of bronze and platinum.
I sleight of hand that as best I can.
You reach down to grab it, and the second you do, a blackened hand reaches up and grabs your forearm. And you hear a
Really?
reply back as this face comes up out of the mushrooms covered with maggots, and it seems that it's actually like it's like filled with them.
Gross.
Roll initiative.
Shit.
Damn it.
Why do you have to touch that thing? You don't have to touch everything, Pockets. Pockets touches all the nasty stuff.
He has to touch everything. It's in
Every
his nature.
nasty thing. It's like some kid. You just don't touch that.
Oh, and for dramatic purposes, you are currently grappled.
Oh, grappled by the maggot man.
Don't let the maggots get a hold of your gnarly ass hand.
Baron, look at that initiative.
Yeah, holy shit.
Do something big.
I'm gonna have to. Maggot man.
I cast Tenderize.
On Pockets. You're
Yeah.
gonna tenderize Pockets for him.
Just get it over with, right?
Oh man.
Do you feel the love yet? All right. Initiative.
Everybody initiative.
I think so, yeah.
Seth didn't, did he?
I'm getting him, sorry.
You gotta get him.
The immediate response as that thing comes up out of the ground, he said, "Mind yourself. They're undead." From Seth.
All right. So, do you want me to go?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to go slow, but
Yeah, he
Not as slow as Typhon.
that's true. I will.
scratch that. I go really fast.
Ooh.
I'll go after you, though, because I think we have the
After me, it
same.
looks like.
Yeah, we have the same.
Yeah. And
I have a +2
dex.
as well. Yeah.
Oh,
but you can go ahead.
We're actually exactly the same. All right. I will take a pearl from my necklace of prayer beads and.
You feel a hand on your shoulder?
What?
And he says, I don't know if they're powerful undead. Seth says, don't use your resources too much. And kind of looks at you like, we don't know how long we're going to be down here. We don't have a way out.
You got a point. You got a good point. In that case, I will cast Produce Flame and throw it on that SOB.
All right.
That's a little bit less risky. Holy shit, that
Nice
was a good one,
shot.
too.
Nice job, man.
Thank you, Seth.
Yeah, he does say nice shot. All right, good shot, good shot. It takes 15 points of fire damage. As it hits, you kind of see a burn kind of char into it, and like a bit of its flesh kind of like peel away. As the flesh peels away, you see white kind of pour out of it as maggots start to bleed out of its chest. All right?
Yeah, it's a part of nature. It's part of nature.
He shakes his head and he kind of looks at it, and then he's kind of focusing on it. Trying to remember his studies, and he says, be wary, gentlemen, be wary. I think those maggots are its power source. It's blood, it's like its blood, and he rushes forward. His Dragon Slayer blade comes in. He looks like he's aiming for the hand that's holding Pockets. Gosh, I hope I don't fumble.
Chop Pocket's hand off.
No. He brings the blade down and hits the arm just enough to kind of cut the hand off. It splinters away, and you have the hand still attached to you, Pockets, but you also have the amulet in your hand as the back end of it breaks off of the neck as you pull away. The hand is like leaking maggots, and the other hand is leaking maggots as well, but it looks like the maggots it's leaking start to take form into a hand-like shape.
Okay, so the hand leaking that's holding me is just leaking, where the stump leaking from the zombie thing is turning into a new hand.
It looks like the maggots are taking a hand shape.
Okay.
It's gross.
Okay.
I'm gonna touch you with my strong hand. So yeah, it goes to Pockets.
All right. So I am free to move away from this thing, though, correct?
Yeah, you'll incur opportunity attacks unless you withdraw, or I don't think you can, but yeah. Disengage. I'm sorry.
Okay, and so, and does it look like I should be worried about this hand still attached to me?
Define worry.
Good question. Good point. So I will, I guess because I probably put Maggie Mist away while I was trying to grab that amulet, I'll stash and draw Maggie Mist and hold it up to my eye and Misty Step away.
Okay.
I'll feel safe right here.
All right.
You son of a gun.
You still have an action.
And
He
then,
takes the cower action.
The coward. He takes that hand off and throws it on Shadow.
Dodge is a good action.
I will with my action attempt to with Maggie Mist like sort of scrape off the hand off of me.
Okay. Yeah, it comes off well enough.
Okay.
Okay. Shadow.
Shadow will move down here and will take a shot at the creature.
Okay. That'll hit.
Nice.
I get sneak attack damage because I have an ally adjacent.
Correct.
Nice.
Solid
That was
hit.
2-1.
It blasts a hole through its chest, basically near where Seth kind of, lashed at it, like in the arm, kind of like up on the shoulder area, and it too kind of starts, leaking maggots. Okay.
It's gonna move back up here, behind Pockets.
Pockets, go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
That hand's gonna grab you again.
Ooh, this is at least with +3 from Typhon.
Okay.
Damn.
That's a beautiful save.
You kind of like see that there are still maggots kind of on the arm, and you start brushing them off. It looks like they were boring into your armor and kind of getting towards your flesh, and you kind of just start
Oh.
and like shaking them off. All right. This one will go ahead and go. It already used its action on that, so it's kind of like standing there looking at. It's like looking at Seth strangely, and you also notice that the maggots are pulling together the flesh where the hole was blasted through it and kind of sealing the body back up.
Damn.
Some sort of magics to deal with this thing.
I think. Hold on. I think fire's. Is fire the stopper?
I'm
No.
certainly hoping.
Okay. Wait.
Pockets is a stop.
Oh no, it is. Okay, so no, it doesn't regenerate. I said too much.
You said too much.
Well,
I'll
I
do it.
was, but I was asking how it reacted to the flame when
Plus-
it got hit by the.
The second, the produced flame was shot at it, Seth said, "Nice shot. That's exactly what you need to kill them," because he rolled a religion check. So
Yeah.
I get to use my least used Lumiere ability.
another of these creatures kind of rises up out of another mound, kind of looks over to Typhon, and with its just squealing, just agony, and deathly face, its eyes just beads of white, yellow light in its sockets, kind of moving around, like being jostled inside, as if maggots were moving the eye sockets around. It darts
Did
forward.
it looked like it was moving swiftly.
It basically, if you've ever seen, what's that movie with Brad Pitt?
World War Z.
World War Z.
Yeah, it's like those zombies.
They're real fast.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
As it kind of comes in at you and swings, you see that its like arm kind of like bursts open with maggots and like worms, and it comes whipping at you with its claw attack.
Multi-attack.
23 miss, right?
Yeah.
Miss or 24. And then go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
It's 25 actually.
Oh, you're cool.
This is +3.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine. A bunch of the worms kind of land on you, and you kind of very quickly like just shove and push as they kind of try to bore into your armor and your body. All right, Typhon.
Bare bones for dinner. Come on then. First attack.
Hit.
I'm going to make all that fire damage.
Okay, once per day, sure.
Good
And
deal.
a miss. All right. Top of the initiative, Baron, you're up.
All right, I got a question for you. If I attack with a range attack, like produce flame, to this guy right next to me is going to attack me, right?
You'll
Or
have
is it
disadvantage.
disadvantage? Damn, I hate that. All right, I'm going to do it anyways.
Okay.
I'm going to attack this guy, though, since I hit him last time. I'm going to try to take that guy down. Produce
Okay.
flame. I guess this will be a disadvantage. I got to roll 2 natural 20s, right? Is that how that works?
Um,
Ooh, that's not bad. Check that out.
yeah, that'll work.
Holy shit. Like an
14
ace.
damage.
Yeah. That thing's still alive?
And you said you're shooting at the one that you're adjacent to, or the one across the way?
No, this one.
Okay.
Because he's already been hurt by us a lot, so.
Yeah, flame kind of hits it and burns it, like I said. It looks like it's keeping the maggots dying and falling out of it instead of letting them kind of regenerate its form. It doesn't die though.
And then, okay, and then I'm gonna do this because I want to move away from Maggot Boy Pockets, who has like maggots and crap all over him. I don't want those near me. So I'm gonna move down here, and I guess that's it. Oh, you know what? Could I do like a religion check, just to find out if I could find anything more about these guys that Seth didn't already tell me?
So the basic
Or that would be
information.
an action.
Yeah.
That would be
Correct.
an action anyways.
Seth just kind of like is a cleric, and we don't have many of those. Like if it was a nature thing, I would say that's fine. That's how I usually work it. Like a wizard sees a wizard thing, it goes, "Oh, I should probably know about that." That's how I usually
thinking he's
do.
a paladin.
Yeah.
I keep thinking he's a paladin, but yeah, right.
You're not
he's
a
dark,
paladin.
So yeah, right.
You're not a paladin
cool.
either.
And I'm not a paladin either. Right.
Right. I'm gonna go
Well,
ahead.
what do you need your paladin to do?
No. He wanted to make religion checks. Don't worry about it. No big
Oh, I
deal.
gotcha.
We already got it. It's already handled. Slash.
Yep.
That'll hit. Seth puts a pretty good solid shot on it, and kind of like brings the blade between him and the creature, and is kind of keeping himself close. The thing that you notice most, though, is his cloak is billowing off to the side, but it's doing so in a fashion that still allows you clear line of sight. Like the cloak it seems to be kind of manifesting away from your clear line of sight, Shadow.
Nice.
Pockets.
Hyphen says really quietly, "That is so cool."
He kind of, like, as you say that and you're looking at him, there's like this slow motion shot of him just being like, and he kind of goes, hey.
Did you add the extra 2 for the undead?
Oh, shit, no. I didn't do it last time either. Thank you. Yeah, he's an
Wait,
Osiris.
isn't he
He's an
a
Osiris.
dragon zombie?
No, I don't remember that being the case.
He's a dragon zombie, isn't he?
Yeah.
Why does he get +2 against undead?
Osirians is a human subrace in this setting. They don't get a bonus feat or skills or whatever like variants do. Instead, they get Favorite of the Gods, which says +1 to all saving throws. Then they get Hatred, which +2 against undead. And they get Persuasion, I think, as a trained skill. That's it.
They would make sweet paladins.
They do. That's because their god is the most lawful good god there is. Yeah. Anyways, pockets.
So there's still maggots on me trying to bore into my skin?
No. Just that one time. You got them off.
Okay, great. Nice. All right. So pockets. Looking at Maggie, looking at the zombie that he teleported away from.
Seth kind of raises his hand and says, "Just walk." Just walk.
And he throws Maggie towards the zombie over here.
Yeah, take the shot. I thought you were going to teleport it. It's like, stop wasting your resources. That'll hit. And sneak attack.
All right. No, I'm going to save it.
Oh, you get another attack.
Yeah, and then
that'll kill it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you throw the dagger past the cloak that's made its way for both of you to throw shots through. Did you make that attack with disadvantage? Yeah, it doesn't matter. They have low AC. It hits. You stab it right in the face. It kind of pinions its face to the wall. And then you have a second attack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Fighter 5. And as I move up, I draw out Selena Stiletto.
Okay.
And before I go into the hit, I try and bash him with my shield.
All right. 1 second. You catch him full on. Like a bunch of maggots start just splashing off the shield as you hit it, and it kind of falls to the ground, screaming, and it hits the floor.
Nice. And then Pockets goes a little insane.
Selena, drive in.
Yeah, and I'll be action surging and precision attacking as needed.
Okay.
So
hit.
And then we'll action surge.
Hit.
And we'll might as well throw it on here.
So
attack.
22. And
holy
hit.
Crap.
30 total.
So
nice.
Do you want a precision attack on that last one? Or it's not damage, is it? Oh.
Right, yeah, I only need it if I'm about to miss.
Okay. You jump on top of it, and like worms are just kind of coated everywhere instead of blood, and you're just in its face. And as its like skull kind of breaks apart, you realize that Selena, like the sexy body handle and like your arm are all coated with maggots. There's just maggots everywhere. Maggots.
No.
Maggots.
No.
Maggots.
No.
You're supposed to go, maggots, I think I've got something to say to you.
Shadow, you're up. It's prone, so you have disadvantage with range attacks, but if you want to step in and get maggots on you.
Yeah, I guess we'll get maggots on me. 2, 3, 4.
You can't let it there with all that kick butt attacking there.
Okay, that'll hit. Sneak attack.
Yep.
All
And
right.
then the offhand.
No,
Nope.
no, it's not necessary. So you kind of pull the short sword blade down, jump in like near pockets, and kind of push him aside and stab into it. The second it hits, you hear kind of this sickening kind of pop, much like the sound that kind of hit when Maggie Miss was tossed into its face. And you kind of pull the blade out, and all the maggots just kind of start falling dead. As that's happening, you hear this shh, and you see Maggie Mist appear back in Pocket's scabbard, where he drew it from, and you guys kind of all like look as these creatures seem to be not moving. Very quickly, once the combat's concluded, Seth kind of looks around with his eyes, and you see this just kind of glint of light kind of come over him and his eyesight. Typhon, you would recognize it as Nether energy, or the energy of kind of like manipulating the negative energies from the plane of shadow.
What'd you see?
That should be actually 2 of 3 left, but not. And he says, there are no more of them here, and these ones are defeated.
All right, good work, guys.
Is that also a racial? Or is
No.
that
Eyes of the Grave is
part of your domain?
Yeah, he's a grave guy, or grave domain.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
he
Very
kind-
Osirian.
Very,
So we said
very-
there are no more here.
There are no more here. There are no more of these creatures nearby.
Great.
And he kind of stands vigil, but as he's doing so, his cloak kind of billows and then snaps down, and then he sheaths the dragon slayer, and just kind of stands there.
Arms crossed.
Of course.
Pocket starts. Oh, go
Over
ahead.
here,
What about the amulet?
So we're gonna
waves Lumiere around.
we're gonna start with pockets first. I heard what you said you're gonna do, Chad. So we will cover that. But go ahead, Tim. What did you want to do?
Pockets checks this body for shinies.
Sure. You check the second corpse for shinies, and you find a ring.
Ooh.
The ring appears to be made out of gold, but like it appears to have like gold on the external portion of the band, and then on the inner lining, like where you against the skin, it's like a platinum band that's kind of set to it.
Okay. Pockets has some decisions to make.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Yeah, you've got the ring and this amulet. You're kind of everybody sees you. Kind of, you have them. Chad,
Treasury.
you said you're going over to look over that and kind of standing vigil as well, like, right?
Yeah, I'm just like waving Lumiere around, trying to see if there's anything else suspicious or interesting around.
Doesn't seem to be the case.
Okay.
If you're kind of shining it like over this way, though, you see that there's this small pool to the west. Looks like there's a small pool of water that's stagnant. It's not flowing like the other water, but there is a small drip coming in from the stone behind it that seems to be coming from the rushing water. Like stone is just barely leaking through the stone, or water's barely leaking through the stone and dripping into this pool.
I will slowly creep over, but I'm not going to move any closer than right here.
Okay. It looks like the water is actually crystal clear blue on the edges, but in the center there's like this white film that's kind of coated over the top of it. Very strange. Very strange indeed. It doesn't look like the Aboleth sludge.
Farron, come here.
Yes, I will come take a look at that if
Okay.
that's what you're calling me to do. I'm
Fair.
actually going
Yeah.
to go a little bit closer.
All right.
Go right over here and get in there and see what it's like.
Okay. And Andy, what do you do?
Going to check out the device.
Okay.
Over here.
You would also notice that there appears to be a cave passageway that leads south.
Okay. Super.
All right. So we'll go ahead and start with Farron. Go ahead and make a nature check.
Nature check. I will try. Oh man, too bad I don't have
Anybody want to, or
whatchamacallit.
Typhon, were you helping him? Because you kind of brought him over.
Exactly. Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
come
kind
over
of
here, though.
reach in and kind of pick it up for him and kind of let him inspect it, touching it and kind of moving it around for him so he can take a look at
Because
it.
if it was something that would have been contagious or like disease-ridden, wouldn't affect me.
Yeah, you're a robot and you're a paladin. So you kind of like move it around for him, kind of give him a gander at it, and he kind of goes, ah. And he kind of thinks about it, and like there's this moment of inspiration. He goes, aha. And so you would recognize this substance, this weird kind of cheese-like substance on the top, very kind of thick, um, almost solid liquid, is what's known as moon's milk. Moon's milk is a kind of natural reagent, or it's edible. And basically, it's filled with a lot of natural sediments and minerals, and it kind of creates a magical, like, healing salve. You know that if you were to apply it to wounds, you can get the same effect as a cure wounds spell. Not as cast by you, but you also know that if you apply this stuff to someone who is poisoned, you can also remove the poison condition. And you would also know that if someone imbibes it, like they eat it, they can regain 2 spent hit dice if they've already spent hit dice before.
Very cool.
Does he explain this to me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as he does, just out of curiosity, I take the stuff that's in my hand and I kind of rub it on wherever I'm bruised or whatever from where I got smacked by a tentacle.
Roll a d8, add 2. And you would use one of the allotments. So the stuff can be kind of put into vials if you'd like, and basically carted around like a potion, if you will, but it's more of like an oil or a salve. And just looking it over, I need you to make a survival check.
All
I
right.
hand him an empty vial from the
Okay,
potion I
so
drank earlier.
you'll be helping him out in the acquisition of this
Sweet.
stuff. So
Sweet.
13.
Boy, that's
You're
bad.
able to get 3 full like compliments of this stuff if you have the containers for it.
I know. Let me check and see. I keep track of those when I have them.
Yeah, I have 3 because I had 2 potions earlier that I drank, but I kept the vials. So
Okay.
and then I just drank another one earlier. So there's 3 vials for you.
All right, sweet. Do you want me to keep them
So,
then, or do you want to keep some of this?
you
This
guys
cures poison, right?
Are looking
You said?
for empty vials. Is there anybody you want to talk to that might have empty vials?
I know that chick, but she threw them on the ground, didn't
But
she?
where is
break
she?
'em?
Oh shit!
I don't know where she is.
I assumed she was with us until she wasn't.
Yeah.
You seem to have lost her in the fray.
Oh, that's bad.
Maybe she was the one in the cloak.
Certainly not.
Doubtful.
Yeah,
Okay.
certainly not.
I think she might be dead now.
Yeah, with the insight check that you got, you knew that she wasn't some sort of possessed or anything like that. She wasn't
Right, I checked out.
She wasn't a ringer. Yeah, but she does seem to be gone.
I was-
Seth doesn't
I
seem
was
to
wondering where
notice,
she was.
and he's still kind of just standing there, arms crossed.
We're the worst heroes.
We are the worst heroes, yeah. Oh gosh. So, hey, at least we.
Well, I mean,
look at
I stayed behind and got clobbered by a tentacle, so people like her could run away.
Yep. But
Your own
nobody
damn fault.
checked on her or anything. And obviously my
Yeah,
character's
you're
going to
right. We're
do
the
his own
worst.
thing, but like nobody checked to see what she was doing.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
it
we
was
didn't ask the specific questions, guys.
No,
Lesson
you-
learned.
She was dying.
You darted.
She was.
You told me exactly what you guys darted. We darted
Yeah,
for
we
the hole.
blew that one.
Yep.
It's cool.
Okay.
No big deal. You guys are at your location here. You've pulled 3 of these 3 allotments of moon milk. If you don't have the containers for the other 2, you can go ahead and use them now.
No, we have the containers.
Okay. Then yeah, 3 containers of moon's milk.
Yeah, we came up with 3 files.
Cool.
Now is that like 3? 1 for the one I used, or?
No, it's 3 plus the one you use.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that works. Sweet.
All right.
Oh, shit,
Shadow,
roll on that, by the way.
go ahead and make me your choice of either thieves' tools or thieves' tools. Are you expertise in thieves' tools?
I'm all the way expertise at thieves' tools.
Okay. All right. So you start kind of looking over the device and kind of toying with it a bit, and you're 100% sure, which is a kind of flick or a press or a move here, you can get this device to go upwards. Or
Excellent.
downwards.
Or downwards. Okay.
Oh, so the whole thing is like an elevator.
It seems so.
Correct. It does something like an elevator. The other thing you would notice too is that this appears to be the top layer of it, and you're pretty sure that there is something hollow underneath. Like as you step on the steel here, it sounds like there's kind of like a hollow space underneath you.
So you said it goes up or down, but so
Mhm.
that there is an up beyond. You said this is the top layer.
So if you look up about 40 feet, there's a hole in the ceiling that's about this shape sized up above you.
I see.
About
Like
15
outside
by
of the
15.
cavern.
That goes up out of the hole here,
Got
yeah.
it. Got it. Okay.
Before we start riding this thing up and down, I think perhaps we should explore this other tunnel to make sure.
Yeah.
It's not.
Agreed.
Kind
So
of
I could just
looking-
say that we have options.
Kind of looking down the tunnel, you would note that the tunnel descends into the earth. So the question that you have to ask yourself at this point is, do you want to go up or do you want to go down?
I think our first priority should be finding a way out.
Seth nods his head
If we
and
find a
says,
good way out and we still have time to poke around, that's fine.
Well, if
Remember-
that's the case, then we should go up and see if this leads out that way.
Seth looks at his shadow and says, "You're quite wise. I agree with you. And I'll put my lot in with that if that's what we're doing is casting lots."
That's fine. We can go up because
Okay.
if, depending on what we find up there, we could always come back down and go in that other passageway.
Perfect.
So I'll throw my lot in there.
So this elevator platform, does it have a railing?
Does not.
Is it covered in slime?
It is.
Okay,
Oh.
Typhon's going to sit. And he's going to sit. Not going to stand. He's going to sit.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Hmm. And then, are you gonna like hold your arms up so people can use you as a railing?
What is this beside Typhon?
That's totally fine.
Is it a mechanism that we could hold on to?
Not really. It seems
That's a
to be.
spool.
It seems to be spooling and turning. If you put your hands too close, you might get snapped in.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if everybody wants to huddle around and just hang on to me for stability, that's fine.
I don't know about that. I'm gonna trust myself. I'm just gonna get on and balance.
Well, worst case scenario is you fall off and land on your feet.
There you go.
Before we get on our way up there, does anyone have the capabilities to identify said ring or amulet? Perhaps they might be of use to us in the
Seth
upcoming.
Seth looks at
First
you.
priority is safety.
Your trinkets are adorable. We'll worry about them when we get back to camp.
Yeah.
All right.
Pockets.
Sorry.
Just put it in one of your many pockets.
And you guys
Oh, they're
settle
there.
up on there. Shadow kind of starts toying at it, hits a thing, and you hear a zzz, and the wire starts to spool and it starts to pull the device that you're on up. At first, there's a jaunt, kind of shifts a bit, and as it starts to rise, you can see the slime kind of spilling off the edges, and you kind of rise up into the air. If you're a curious lot and you want to look over the edge, let me know. If not, that's fine too.
Sure. We'll look over the edge.
Once
You-
the slime slides off, Typhon
Well, it's
slowly
still
rises
it's
to
still
his feet.
it's still slick. It's just like a good
Okay.
amount of it kind of came off the edges.
Make a vertigo saving throw.
Save against vertigo.
If you kind of like lean over and take a look, Farron, you would see that you're on top of a 10-foot box, and that box is now ascending.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it appears that one side of the box, the side opposite of where the spool is, so the western side, has
no.
a strange kind of grated door.
Oh shit, guys, we're on the top of this, which means.
Oh, can we
depending
stop
on-
it?
I don't know.
Go ahead and make a Thieves' Tools check.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen enough action movies to know being on top of the elevator is not a good place to be.
So you start kind of finagling with it, and you manage to get it to stop. But by the time it's kind of gotten to that point, because it's moving pretty quick, not like super fast, but pretty quick, you are actually inside of the rock up above, and you can see that about 10 feet up above you, there appears to be something on the western wall, and then 10 feet above that, there are large spikes.
Ooh. Is that something a door to go through?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, let's go there then, guys.
I'm up.
Okay.
I think the best climber in this group is Shadow.
Yeah, but we might need
No
him down
contest.
there to, I don't know, restart the machine.
Whatever you think.
Well, we have two options. We can like go all the way back down and get in the proper way, or we could just try to get from here to the door. It would probably be easier or safer to go down to the bottom and try to bring it up just a little bit. Maybe we should do that then.
Okay.
Oh,
Try to see if we can get
it's
this to
only
go
10
down.
feet above us. I was thinking we could climb up there, make sure it's secure. If it's secure, machine, and just hop out when he gets there. That way we'll have an elevator that's on the same level as us, and everybody's in a safe space.
Real quick, make a investigation check there, Shadow.
Detective Shadow investigates.
You are pretty keen-eyed, and you realize basically what you had to do to stop it was set it at a point where if you were to try and start it up again, it can only go up. If you tried to make it descend, the only way to do that would be to release the spool, which would cause you to fall with gravity. And that's probably going to hurt a lot more than other options.
I relay that to the group, so it sounds like climbing is the option.
Basically, the spool's set in intervals, and it needs to kind of get to a point before it can be reset and drop, like normal.
So
Typhon looks at Seth and he says, "Do you want me to go up first, or would you like me to help you get up there first?"
How about we send him up first so he can go ahead and see if he can fix that door? And he looks at the cat. He's pretty good with doors.
Oh,
That's
I
what I
wasn't aware
hear.
the door was closed. I apologize.
He kind of looks up there and he's like, "Yep." And
So-
he looks at you and he like puts his hands together and interlaces his fingers. Kind of looks at you.
So do that again?
Seth kind of looks at you, kind of kneels down a little bit,
yeah.
interlaces his fingers, kind of looks at you.
Yeah. So just to use that as a boost up.
As you put your foot on it, he lifts up very suddenly and kind of tosses you straight up, seeming to have the strength of ogres as he tosses you up
Wow.
towards it.
And Shadow would just sort of grab onto the rock face as he comes near. He has a rope at his side, and he would climb up to the door. And so, am I able to? How does this work? Is it the door set in the stone? Is it an opening?
So it's just imagine in your brain an elevator door. It looks like there's a narrow slit in between two panels of metal.
Okay. So I'm sorry, 2 panels in metal.
2 panels of metal with a narrow slit in between them. Think of elevator door.
The elevator door is shut, you know?
Am I able to try to open the door while I'm in a climbing position?
You're cool enough to be that. Yeah, go ahead and make a Thieves' Tools
You
check
know
for me.
climb speed.
Okay.
Yeah, you dig your bottom claws down into this little lip at the door. You kind of place your fingernails like here, and then you work in a small spade and kind of push, and then you set in another tool and kind of pull at it, and then tug. And then once you get to a point where you can kind of get your fingers in, you realize that there isn't much like pushing it back in. It's just that they're pretty old, and you pull them apart. Once they're pulled apart, you look out and you see stone panels, stone tiles, and it kind of leads down to a downward step that kind of leads into a small hall with a door at the end.
Is there anywhere to secure the rope?
No, not so much. But you're only about 10 feet above them. You could probably like put yourself like waist.
Yeah, I'm pretty strong. I could
and lean
probably
down.
help. Yeah. So I would sort of wrap it around my forearm and throw the rope down and brace to try to help people as they're climbing.
Seth grabs the rope, pulls himself up very quickly, and
Pockets in
then
his neck.
he kind of stands on top of you, like almost straddling you, and kind of braces you down against the stones so you're even more secure. You pull up Pockets.
Pockets. If there's any way to us, Pockets keeps watch in the on the other side, watching our backs.
Sure. Seth kind of motions towards Farron. Farron goes next. We all, kind of easily pull him up, and then we cast a line down. We look down at Typhon. All of us just looking down at him.
Yeah, of course.
Tie it around yourself. No, you're heavy. You're a
Pull
big
us
old
down.
robot, dude. We're not gonna. We're gonna lift you up.
Myself up with the rope.
Okay. Yeah.
Use my 2 fully functional arms to help me up, help myself up.
And they
What's the
definitely give
tensile
you a lot of
strength
aid.
of this rope?
It's fine.
We may bust it.
It's fine. I'm just saying, he's a big robot. He weighs a lot. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
They help you up. No problem. All right. And hold on.
Now we're all in the death chamber of the sleeper. This
So
is
the
exactly
stairs
what
go
we're
down.
supposed to do.
We're gonna have to let that elevator up sooner or later.
We can use it later to go down in the future.
The stairs go down. Well, the thing is that at this point, if it wants to go down, it has to go down violently.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
Or you
Well-
can bring it up and try and get into the door that's open before it gets up to where it needs to
Shadow can do that with an acrobatics, perhaps.
be. Done. You get the elevator to where it needs to be. It's set.
Ooh, sweet, Shadow. That was your opportunity to roll a 1 and get smushed.
Didn't need to.
You didn't even need to.
Okay. You guys see the door. The door is made out of metal. It looks like it has a strange mark kind of drawn on it in chalk. It looks like a Davic script word. Very strange looking. Does anybody speak Dwarvish?
No, but I did take a note.
I speak Gnomish.
Is that the same as the old Angum rune?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's a different mark altogether. It is in the same alphabet, but it's not that specific one.
Yeah.
He kind of looks at it. Seth kind of looks at it and says, "I don't speak Dwarvish." Nobody?
We have no dwarves in here.
I used to, but
Mm.
I do not.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, if you want to check out the door, or do you just want to go in?
wait, didn't Seth take the dwarf stone?
No.
Oh, I thought he did.
I know we want to check this door for traps.
I'm saving it for
Yeah.
another player so they have an arc.
Okay, fair enough.
Should maybe we try to take down the inscription so someone back at camp might be able to decipher the text for us?
Seth shrugs.
Type in
I'm just deciding
slaps a
whether
piece
to
of
go.
paper on it and does an etching.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Etching. Oh, it was trapped. Oh no, he's our trap guy.
I was just
got
about to check it.
You got a what? 15?
15.
Okay, so you missed by 2. Take 21 points of fire damage. Everybody else, actually, Seth included, except for because of this setup, Shadow should be in the front. Needs to make a dexterity saving throw as well.
Oh, Typhon.
I thought he already inspected it for traps.
Residual.
I was trying to, and then somebody did something before.
You guys are all within 10 feet of Typhon, so you get +2.
Doesn't do me much good.
Yeah.
You got a 16.
DC is 17, and if you fail it, you take 11. If you succeed, you take 6. Chad took the brunt of it, the initiating burst.
Does Shield Master apply?
Yeah, you see this one coming, so you can use your reaction to do it.
Alright, and I should get a +2 to this from Shield Master as
So he
well.
got +4, so he rolled an 18. He passed. And then he can
Alright.
use his reaction to take no damage.
Seth will fail. After that happens, the doors kind of like move a little bit in their spaces, like they're slightly open, and you start hearing dwarvish yells from the other side.
Shit.
Typhon, make a perception check. Oh, no, sorry, not Typhon. I apologize. Shadow, make a perception check.
Yep.
One of the dwarf voices sounds familiar. It sounds like a female dwarf you once encountered. A dwergar.
Where
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
fuck.
Really?
Oh, fuck. What?
Get ready to rumble.
Open the door, Typhon. Rip it open.
Okay.
Can you already see
Right back
past?
up on us.
You can already see past it, can't you? Oh, you're not even
Not on
on
the map.
Oh,
No, I'm not
that's-
even.
We're on top of the elevator.
Okay, perfect. Bam.
He bamfed
You
us
see
there.
as the doors open, you see a chamber. It looks like it has a total of 10 pillars. The 2 pillars farthest from you seem to be cackling with lightning. In between you and the end of the hall are two dwarves, Dwergar, dark-skinned. One of them is female, with her hair kind of, tied behind her back. It looks like she is kind of more portly than you recall her being, Shadow, last you saw her. And another Dwergar with no hair on his face or body, and a strange mark emblazoned on his brow. You do hear voices coming from the side chambers that are to your left and right. And it looks like there might be some strange glyphs on the floor in between you and the altar. The altar seems to be to some kind of bird, and it doesn't look like it's something that's dwarvish at all, the statue. That said, she kind of looks in your direction, and she's holding a very large greatsword, but she kind of looks to you passively. What would you guys like to do?
Farron, say something.
Yes, you gotta start with the number one thing you say to somebody when you first meet them. Hello, we come in peace. I say that in common because I know I don't speak Dwarvish.
She kind of looks to you all and she says, "Huh. I remember you."
That's on me.
Oh, that's fine.
That's on you.
She kind of looks to you all and she kind of in comment says, "Huh. I remember you. You were the one that escaped in the shadows. What was your name?"
You've already said it.
She kind of, I'm sorry, common is not my first tongue. What do you mean by that?
Shadow says shadow in Elvish.
Ah, an interesting name. Quite ironic. Why are you here? What brought you to this city?
Shadow looks towards Seth.
Milady Dwarf, we are here because we were engaged with the Sleeper. Are you familiar with it? She nods her head. Our hope was to leave with our people and our bounty and head north of here, but unfortunately we've been waylaid in this place for some time. Fortunately, we were able to find this strange shrine and secure ourselves here. We've been able to find a decent amount of food outside, just below the device. But if you have any rations, we would gladly take them. And she kind of looks to her sword and she kind of then sets it back on the altar. We would gladly receive them as a gift of an offering of peace.
Shadow would definitely come forward and give the rations and say, we too have been trapped here, and we can combine our strength and find a way out.
I think not. I don't think that we will ally with you. I don't think you're one who would want to ally with us, since the Taskmaster has done a grave thing to your friend.
And that's Typhon, you mean?
No.
No, that was
The boy,
wasn't it?
the boy that we captured, the young noble.
Oh,
that's right. That was Lucas. Lucas.
Oh no! Did he lose an arm or a
Yes.
leg?
We have him. He is in our cells. We've kept him with us and we've kept him fed. We've treated him as we would treat any noble prisoner, but unfortunately we've considered eating him on a number of occasions. It has been trying in this place. She takes the rations that you hand her. How many days worth do you hand her?
I would hand her everything. I'll give you all the rations I have. You should let our friend go. We can bring him back to the camp.
Two Dwergar come out.
Why not just give him all mine? I don't need them.
Two Dwergar come out, and she throws them the rations, and she says, in Dwarvish something. And one goes through this door on the side, and the other goes through this door on the other side. You don't mean to slaughter us, then?
That's certainly not our intent.
Has anybody told Typhon about Lucas?
They basically just said it in common, so you would understand that they have a noble boy that they captured, and you would know that Dwergar took them in the first place, or took him in the first place.
So Shadow tried to make a trade for the food for Lucas.
Oh.
Very good, yeah.
Well, we'll surrender him to you. That's fine. But for the food, we are offering you peace. For the boy, we will offer you, or you will offer us, an escape route. You came here in one way. That way was safe, was it not?
No,
Our
a
go
mage,
ahead.
a mage sealed it behind us.
We have another way. We think a way out through the top of the mountain.
We've been digging upwards for some time. We know that there's a group of humans that have been holding up above us. But unfortunately, our digging has not done us much good, as we've entered into a pointless religious site. And there's a strange sword there that when we touched it killed our people. But I know of nothing like it. I say this to you. If you wish to attempt it, you can go and try and take the blade. But I promise you nothing more than death.
Where is this
Oh my
passage?
god. I know exactly what this is, and it's so fucking tempting.
It's just along the way. We've guarded it with powerful magics to be sure that if the Azumatan were aware of our entry to that shrine, they would not be able to come to us. But I can show you the way through. I tell you that when we return your friend to you, Catman, he will not be in all of the pieces that we acquired him in. And unfortunately, our intent was to be able to restore him to himself when we arrived there, but the person who made that part of the bargain was taken along with the part that he held.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
I tell you this, it was not my intent to wound or maim the boy. It was the taskmaster's, and he was destroyed when we first entered into this place. You see, there's a place inside of this shrine, a library. And when we entered into it to find out what we could of these dwarvish old scripts, the books came alive and attacked us with the most powerful magic. He was disintegrated into ash.
It's very bad.
Shadow says, "I take you at your word."
We have blocked that place as well with some of our magics. So,
Lead on.
you say that the way that you came was blocked?
Yes, but we think we have another possible way out.
All right.
I'd like to see the sword.
Very good. She leads you down the hallway. By this point, you see one of the balder gentlemen with a mark on his head kind of step out, and you see Lucas, like, just a bit gaunt, but of most of these dwarfs that you've seen that look like they're a bit undernourished. He kind of, don't worry about the map, we're going theater. Since you didn't, it was a battle map because I thought you were breaking open the door and getting ready to scrap. But you see Lucas, and he kind of looks at you guys hazily, and he goes, "Meow? Oh!" And he kind of just passes out in the arms of the guy, and he kind of looks at you, and he says, in Dwarvish something. Namira kind of looks at you, Tabaxi, and says, he says he'll try to get him back up, and he'll feed him what you gave us, and he thanks you for his portion.
Is he sick?
He is not ill. No, he is just hungry like the rest of us, but we are hardy. We are like the earth. We can survive for some time despite the pains of hunger. Your boy is a bit softer. She leads you to this very large glyph inside of this strange hallway that's covered with just dwarvish markings all about it. It looks like some of them are freshly chiseled. And she kind of says some dwarvish words and then moves her hand over this glyph in the center of the room, closes her hand into a fist, and punches the glyph at a specific point. What you think you might be able to do, Shadow, you might be able to do, the words would be the hard part. It's very Klaatu Verata Nikto kind of thing. And you guys move then to another door and then into some steps which lead to a point where they've been digging. Then you lead to a point where it kind of comes into a small, just end hall, and there's a break in the stone on the floor that leads into a bright light chamber. Light as the sun.
Is Shadow with me? Is it just Shadow and Typhon?
I assume, Farron, do you want to stay with Lucas and kind of help him out, or are you going with them?
I kind of would like to see what's going to happen to Typhon, but I will help out Lucas.
Why don't you give him a good berry or something?
I don't have one made. But you gave away all of our food. They're going to give him some food, so that'll help him, I think.
Yeah.
I want to go and see what's going to happen to Typhon when he explodes from grabbing this sword.
Okay.
I gotta see this.
Me too.
Yeah, Pockets is going just to, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta see that. It's gonna be so awesome if you don't explode, Typhon.
You can see down into the room.
I'm very nervous.
Okay. You can see down into the room, and you feel like you could drop down into it. The chamber is very, very familiar to you. You feel like you've been in this place before.
Oh my god, is this Elrindil's tomb?
It looks a lot like Elrindil's tomb, but it's not.
Okay.
Do you drop down the 10 feet to land in that chamber?
Yeah, I want Shadow to come with me.
Okay. You both descend down into it, and you see that there's a statue of an elvish maiden with angel wings on her back and a very stern-looking face. She apparently is wearing the robes of a nun or a matron of a church. She's surrounded, or flanked rather, by 2 candles set on the ground that seem to be ever burning. And set in front of her on the ground is a large rock, probably about 3 or 4 feet tall, and there is a sword impaled in the stone at its top. The blade appears to be a reddish color, and the handle is very ornate, and set atop that is the symbol of Averio.
Oh, Chad.
so
Chad. It was like right in front of you.
First things first. Lay on hands for 10.
He's got to buff up before he gets killed.
I'm not really sure this is really going to help at all, but on myself, Shadow, and Farron, that puts me up to 72. And as I approach the sword, I stop and I look at Shadow and I hand him the healing potion.
Oh boy.
If this doesn't work, I'll need you to use this on me.
He was with you, and it was you and Farron that found the sword before.
Was it?
Yeah.
I forget that.
Elrindil, yeah, it was, and Shaq was the.
I don't think he went back after we got the key. I don't think he went with us.
He didn't. Okay,
I
thought he
think it was just me and Aramo and a couple other people.
Okay. Well, anyways, Pockets, did you go with them as well? Yeah, you're in here.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so you see this very majestic-looking situation, and Typhon looks like he's amping himself up, and he casts a spell, and he walks over to it. Typhon, you hand him the potion, you look at the sword, do you reach over and grab it?
Before I do, I say a prayer. You know, the prayer, you be with me.
The second you grab the blade, or grab the handle of the blade, the spell Aid is dispelled, and it goes away from everybody that was cast on.
All
everything kind of goes white.
67.
Everything kind of goes white for you, and you hear a voice. You cannot touch me. Only the purest can touch me. You must prove yourself if you even wish to swear. Swear to me the oath of justice, the oath of the dais. So then, show me that you have power. Do you have a second level spell slot available?
I do.
Expend it.
Okay.
Show me that you have endurance. If you're holding on to the blade during the first round portion, take 5 points of damage. You can choose to let go of the blade at this point or hold on to it.
I'm going to hold on to it.
Round number 3. Do you wish to... You take another 5 points of damage. Do you wish to hold on to the blade or relinquish it?
Hold on to it.
Round 4. Do you wish to hold on to the blade or relinquish it?
Hold on to it.
Round 5. Do you wish to hold on to the blade or relinquish it?
I'm sorry. Did round 4 do another
5
damage?
points. Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Round 5. 5 points of damage.
Hold on 1 second. So it's been 5 rounds. The first round was a 2nd level spell slot.
You should have taken a
And then-
total of, for the 4 rounds that we've had you taking damage, a total of 20 damage.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Okay, so that was round 5. Round 6, take 5 points of damage.
When were you last? What level were you last time you tried this, Chad?
I was like level 3.
Okay.
You took 5 points of
cast-
damage?
Yeah, I did.
Can
Okay.
I cast healing on him if I see him getting hurt?
You see
I don't
him,
think it works.
you see him in pain. Are you casting a healing spell on him?
I'll try.
Okay.
You're supposed to do that.
Go ahead
It might
and
not work,
r-
but I'll
r-
try.
tell me what spell slot. Tell me what spell you're using. Don't throw out that.
Cast healing word at level 2.
Okay, go ahead and extinguish the 2nd level spell slot and take.
Yeah.
We're at round 5, right, Chad? Or no, we just started round 6. Okay, so you've taken a total of 25 points of damage.
Yes.
Farron, take 25 points of damage.
Oh
Son
no!
of a bitch! That sucks.
It happens in both games to you,
Chad,
Kevin.
you're not paying attention to the world around you. Everything's white to you, so you do not hear Farron say his spell. You do not hear his pain. You do not feel his touch. Round 7. At the start of the round, you take 10 points of damage. Do you wish to hold on to
Okay.
the blade?
Yes.
Round 8. Take 10 points of damage. Do you wish to hold on to the blade?
Yes.
Round 9. Take 10 points of damage. Do you wish to hold on to the blade?
Yes.
And round 10. Do you have more than 10 hit points at current?
Yes.
Take 10 points of damage, and you can feel the blade loosen from the stone.
Oh!
You're doing it!
As you
Keep at it!
as you pull the blade out and you're holding it in your hand, the pain of it causes you to let it go. You feel it just kind of and it snaps from your hand and kind of floats before you, and it says, "You must swear an oath to me to wield me. And in your current form, I would not let you touch my form. You disgust me. You must be as I wish you. I will melt you
Transform you!
into what I wish you to be.
An
If
elf.
you wish
Do
to
it.
hold me, if you wish to be my master,
I already know what this one does, but I'm
you
gonna agree to it.
must take me up. Do you swear this oath that we will go into the dark places of the world and destroy that which is unjust? Do you wish
Look into
to?
my heart, and you already know the answer to your question.
Then I will change you and you will serve. And as she says that, the light around Typhon starts to swell and you no longer see the mechanical form.
Oh man.
It becomes a blinding light that fills the entirety of the room. And when the light finally slows and dims, you see a beautiful human woman standing in front of you holding a red
I love it.
blade. She does seem to have the same features as Typhon did when he had a tiefling form.
It's like that Facebook thing we keep on seeing.
Her hair is perfectly blonde, and she does seem to have a certain beauty to her, but at the same time, an absolute strength. And she
So wait, am
holds.
I a female woman or a female tiefling?
You are a female human.
Typhona.
You think I would let a demon-born hold me? Methinks not.
Well, that's kind of Typhon's whole shtick, is being the holiest Hell Knight around.
Well, now you're the holiest girl that has a sword that used to be a robot that once was a demon spawn.
I'm not a robot. Now I'm like,
Third character portrait, Chad. This is your
Yeah.
third picture.
Oh my god. I didn't even intend for you guys to talk to the Dwergar or even make it to this point, but great.
It happened.
Because when
Yeah, that's awesome.
when Kevin was like, I'm out, I can't play, I was like, they're not going to talk to him, they're going to fight him. It's going to be a bunch of butchery.
Gonna fight.
This isn't even going to be a possibility. So, anywho, yeah.
And we got Lucas back.
For the time being, for the rest of the session, stat wise, maintain what you have. You're just
okay.
a lot.
Dia swords are
I'm
awesome.
I'm looking haggard as hell,
You're
guys.
a lot prettier.
I hand him the healing potion.
You're,
Her the healing potion.
Yeah.
what's your current proficiency bonus?
Probably gonna need to take a rest.
What's your current proficiency bonus?
My current proficiency bonus is 3, I believe.
And your weapon's
Yeah.
already a +1, right?
Yes.
For the purposes of this, the rest of the session, just add +2 to your damage rolls.
Okay.
Nice.
It gives a bonus to your attack rolls equal to half your proficiency bonus rounded down, and it gives a bonus to your damage rolls equal to your proficiency bonus. It also has other traits, but we'll get to those later.
Yeah, you know what? We'll probably take a short rest. We could take a safe short
Okay,
rest
so
because these
he'll
guys are.
he'll fully attune to it. That's fine. Let's see if I actually have it. I think I have the handout.
I messaged Edwards. He wants to play Lucas again.
Lucas Noir.
I said he still was legless.
Well,
Oh,
it's
he's
funny
legless.
because last time Lucas saw Typhon, he was a tiefling. And then he sees Typhon again, he's a robot. Typhon leaves the room and comes back, he's a woman.
It's like you got identity crisis going on there.
I know. It's like worse than Elminster. I mean, like that dude. I'm a fighter. I'm a female cleric. I'm a polymorphs not involved. Do I have the handout for this thing? I do, but it's the wrong image. That's weird. Yeah, it's the wrong image. Strange. It is not a longsword, by the way.
It's
It
a
is-
Oh,
scimitar.
really?
It is an
not?
arming sword.
If it was a scimitar, you could give it to me.
I'm Clementine.
Arming swords are basically rapiers that do slashing damage.
Ah.
Can I use strength?
Yeah, you can still use strength. It's just it's a finesse weapon.
I got you. Cool.
Man, you're badass now.
I just heard pockets. You wouldn't have been able to survive it, by the way.
Oh no, I wouldn't. I'd be dead.
You don't have a second level
I'll get out.
spell. The image is wrong, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete that and just give it to you like it is.
What is the name of the sword? Dias what?
Dias Vectra.
Oh,
This-
Vectra.
Man, those
Okay.
Zoomian are going to be pissed when they see me walking around with their sword.
This is the matron. So show to players. It's just gonna show to Chad, but I'll go ahead and just for fun's sake show you.
Yeah, we got to see what it says here.
Yeah, it is one of the legendary items. Now we have 2 legendaries floating
man.
in
Floating
the,
in this universe, yeah.
well, in this group, yeah. Dias Vectra is a legendary. It requires attunement from a female. If you're not female, it changes you into one with the binding oaths. You gain a bonus to attack and damage rolls. Oh, that's wrong.
Green. You have green flame blade as well. That's cool.
Yeah, it should be. And no, it shouldn't be Green Flame Blade. Sorry, that one's also wrong. Weird.
What should it be then?
I gotta fix this. This is old. This is real old. You have a bonus to attack rolls. Control Z.
You will
Attack.
have my proficiency bonus rounded down, so it's an extra 1.
So Typhon's a woman now, so he's gonna have some fun things that happen to him now that he's a woman that he wasn't used to before.
Yeah, he's probably just gonna hang out in his tent playing with his boobs all day. We're like, this is pretty
Great.
cool.
Then the sword will be like, stab me into yourself because you're not going out and killing things.
Yeah.
Pro tip, Chad. Your sword will talk to you if you pay attention to it.
Oh, I have every intention of paying attention to it. Like when I encountered the first Dias blade, I picked it up and it was like, do you wish to swear an oath to justice? Like Typhon literally cried. Like, yes, that's exactly what I want to do.
What are you gonna go by now?
Why did it go with Green Flame? Green Flame is for Sentina. Sentina has Green Flame. Elrindel has Lightning Lore. And Vectra has...
Sword burst?
Booming blade.
Hold on a second.
And then the spell must be different too, right? So Sentina has Misty Step,
Oh, no. Sentina doesn't have Misty Step.
doesn't it?
No, yours is Sentina.
No, that's what I mean.
Hawk.
So it has green
No.
flame blade and does.
You got Misty Step because it turned you into a half Eladrin.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, very
His
cool.
turned him into a female, so he doesn't get any special features other than the fact that he was a Warforged, and it changed him away from that. Warforged aren't gendered, so I couldn't possibly change him into a female Warforged. I had to change him into a female, and the base type would be human. If he was a tiefling when he picked up the weapon, it probably would have turned him into a female tiefling, but he wasn't. He was a Warforged.
Got it.
Man, this is very crazy.
I'm going to say that the cantrip for this one will be determined. I'm going to leave that
Okay.
blank.
That's fine. I'm gonna stick with Lumiere for the remainder of this adventure, anyways.
You get +2 damage. And
Yeah,
and look at the reaction that you can use once per long
Yeah.
that
rest.
is true. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Am I gonna be like what? Like a variant human?
You can be any type of human that you like, just like I did with Hawk. You can choose your human variants. Where was Typhon from? Was he Parnan?
Oh. Yeah, we never really determined that.
Is he from here? Because he was in the Order of the Bloody
Yeah,
Rose.
he's in the Order of the Rose.
I would assume he's local, so you'd probably either choose either Commonborn, Frontierborn, or Parnan.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at the
Parnan.
variants. We'll figure that out afterwards.
Parnan.
Represent.
But yeah,
Hey, maybe now I can speak fucking Elvish.
once you've got the sword out and kind of you've drawn it, you guys head back into the Dwergar facility. And
Will you take a short rest?
yeah, you would assume. And you guys head on. Basically, what you guys have kind of probably determined is the pathway out of here is probably the down the into the one path stepwise. Is that what we're
Nice.
assuming? Right?
Yeah.
Someone said they had an idea of where to go, right?
That's 32, so that's 43. I used 10 of those. So I've got 10 left.
Yeah, I don't know what you were talking about, Andy, because I don't think we really had a way out of here yet, except for going back the way we came.
Oh, I
Because
thought that we can go up the top of the elevator.
I don't
The
think we
elevator,
can.
the elevator's top is where you're at right now. It
Yeah.
goes up into spikes beyond that, and
Okay.
then there is a pass. They say that there is a path below, but they haven't gone down it. Like it's
Okay.
just very long. If you guys want to attempt that, you can, taking the Dwergar with you, because they're looking for safe passage, and you have Lucas in tow as well. You would eventually find out that this long passageway actually leads up and out onto the mountaintop, but it seems to come out Farron, where you last saw the giant Eonis, and you see his
okay.
corpse there as well, because he died. It's snowy out here. It's no longer a spring glade, and you'd be able to find your way back down the tower. So basically, what you did
Right.
is you went down, and then you kind of went up and out, and then you went down again to get back into the city, and then out again. So a very long journey with not much in your way to deal. This one was a pretty simple session. I did have other things planned, but they were mainly focused on Jeanette. And Jeanette, if you're watching or if you do watch, hopefully you can join us next session. We really would like to have you. Sorry you couldn't show up for whatever reason, and I do apologize. You missed the fun. That said, experience-wise, not terribly much this session, you guys. Apologies. Just a meager 700 for surviving the encounter with the cultist.
Cultist. Interesting.
Actually, go ahead and gain 900 total because you also did pretty good in your dialogues with the Dwergar as well. And you recovered old boy Lucas.
And Spectra,
Yeah, that's
Oh,
awesome.
also Diaspectra. One of
the first of many.
one of the 7 Saint swords. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm very stoked.
if you and Hawk just become friends.
That
You
would be awesome.
also know that the Dwergar's dungeon that they've left behind has a living library, is what they told you.
Right.
Some sort of spell library, which might be important to some people. If you want
yeah.
to mention that about town, it's a plot lead. And
Cardiff.
you would also know that
Yeah.
apparently the sleeper is engaged at war with the Azumatin.
They're gonna need help.
Potentially so. Yep.
Upon getting back to town and having someone look at the ring and amulet, what does they do?
The ring's worth 300, and the amulet's worth 150. They're not
Okay.
magic.
Oh, what did you appraise that baboon figure at again? You said it was 100 GP?
Mhm.
Okay. I want to pitch that as soon as
And-
possible.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream. Thanks, guys, for playing. Sorry it was a short session.